Hi, Tony Bradshaw with AddSomeToYourIncome.com here to share with you a few things I'm doing that is making income and I predict will make income. This is a kind of a little bit of reveal of some of the things that I'm personally working on. I look forward to doing that actually. Let's dive in. So first of all, I wanted to do this one because last night I went to a meeting for being the union rep. So in our building, I'm the one that's a union rep. And so I go to these meetings. It's been worked out that by attending the meetings, you receive a $10 amount for each meeting you attend. And last night was our last meeting of the year. It's May, and it's time to wrap things up. And at the meeting, the treasurer was over there figuring out, okay, who's here, how many other meetings have they been to, and writing out a check. So I have in my pocket right here a check that was written to me for attending these meetings. What a year we've had. Most of these meetings were online. I did a fairly good job of actually focusing on the meeting that was online. At times I may have accomplished some others. This is not it. This is the insurance card. It is right here. I have this little pouch on that I keep things in that was given to me to keep it here on the back of the phone. At any rate, so I have this check, and just to show how it works, I'm going to cover up numbers. So I have here written to me, Tony Bradshaw, $80, $80. So I must have gone to 8 meetings. Okay, so why am I sharing this? I attend those meetings and I know that there's going to be some money attached. It's an increase to my income. This is part of my message. I'm willing to continue to be the building representative for the union because I actually see some income. At the same time, I weigh it out too. That money comes in and I think to myself, the time spent, the situations I find myself in with the obligations I'm expected to do. Will I continue to do this in the future? That's to be determined. I'm going to kick that can down the road. For now, I received $80 for sitting in meetings. Meetings that I have very minimal responsibility. The main responsibility is to bring information back to other union members in my building. Wonderful place to be able to find a little bit of income that comes to me. I also feel better informed in that situation. Maybe this gives you an idea, or when you hear about something. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I applied to do leading a book group. I'm going to have to sit in these book groups anyway. And the principal was like, who would like to lead them? Well, guess what? I landed the job. I believe it's a $600 stipend because $600 is the minimum amount for stipends. It could be more. And I understand it has to be a minimum of $600. I haven't been told the exact amount. I haven't actually signed. We're having our first meeting tomorrow to look at what books we would study, or what book. I think by the time tomorrow meeting is done, I get to decide what book it is, and I'll have the summer to be able to prepare. There'll be a little bit of prep work, like I mentioned in the video. I think I'll be putting in about 10 hours outside of just the regular meetings. And then I'm in those meetings, which I'm not going to count those as hours because I'd have to sit in those anyway. And there we were, 10 hours-ish is what I'm going to guess. My guess is probably off by times 2. I found that to be the case when working on projects. You might as well. If I think it's going to take 10 hours, it's probably going to take 2, sometimes 3. So let's do worst case scenario, and I spend 30 hours on it, and I'm getting $600. Okay, $20 per hour, if that's what actually ends up happening. I predict again to get more like 10 hours, more like $50 to almost $60 an hour for the work that I will do to be ready to lead these book groups. I'm stoked about that, right? That's another chunk of change that is coming to me because of my willingness to do things that increase my income. I told you I was going to get a little bit personal and expose some things that I've been doing, which can turn into passive income later, income that's going to come to me, something I'm working on. Now, you all have to do you. You do what you do best. And I'm going to share with you what it is I'm doing. So to get into this, I'm going to tell you that I was in a meeting with students, and it was on Zoom, and one of the students changed their name. You know how you can rename yourself in Zoom? And they renamed themselves, I think it was like phonetically or something like, oh, okay, check this out. And I put on my name, Mr. Bat Saw. So, and we all started playing with different things. So my first name is Tony, and so I did toe, knee, and then Bat Saw instead of Bradshaw. That's how my name ended up at the end of this this class, right? And the other kids were just like playing around with their names, like John, E, Johnny, and anyway, so we played around with our names. Well, I got done with that, and sometimes my brain works a little bit like Dr. Seuss. I love Dr. Seuss' story. Dr. Seuss didn't get a doctorate until well after calling himself Dr. Seuss for a long time. Mom wanted him to be a doctor. My mom wants me to be a doctor. Anyway, and what he did is he just used his middle name. And he said doctor and his middle name. So for me, this would be Dr. Brian. Okay? And Dr. Brian here, I wrote a book because I thought it was pretty cool. And it's called What the Bat Saw. And at this point, this book is literally folded piece of paper. I printed out the words, and the dedication says to Aaron Cole for being a true friend. Mommy, guess what I saw? What did you see? A bridge with towers 3. And there are no pictures of towers yet. I need an illustrator. If you know an illustrator for children's books, these things kind of spit out of me at times. Mommy, Daddy, sister, and brother, I flew this way and the other, and my ears were my eyes as I flew through the skies. Daddy, guess what I saw? What saw you? A gate at the zoo. Mommy, Daddy, sister, and brother, I flew this way and the other, and my ears were my eyes as I flew through the skies. Sister, guess what I saw? The lion's feet? No, all his teeth. Mommy, Daddy, sister, and brother, I flew this way and the other, and my ears were my eyes as I flew through the skies. Brother, guess what I saw? Oh, what next? A lion, muscles flexed. Mommy, Daddy, sister, and brother, I flew this way and the other. That was supposed to happen before. Somehow when I printed this, it got out of order because sister was the one that said about the lion's feet. We'll fix that when we get to printing. Anyway, and my ears were my eyes as I flew through the skies. But I flew home. I'm out of order here. It's the papers that are out of order. The lion sprang and chomped his teeth at me, but I flew home past the gate and towers 3. Mommy, Daddy, sister, and brother, I flew this way and the other, and my ears were my eyes as I flew through the skies. And then here I'll try and show. I have the toe, knee, bat, saw. That's my signature on this particular book. Since I'm sharing book and I'm doing the old Dr. Brian here, let's have another one because I told you these kind of just spit out of me. This one's called Train. This is a fairly newish one. I tried to do a little illustration. You'll see why I'm not an illustrator. Just on the first page. Train, fast or slow. Train, on the go. And there's my little Rapido and my Largo. Anyway, moving on. Train, short or long. Train, goes along. Train, low and high. Train, to the sky. Train, in the yard. Train, worked so hard. Train, did your best. Train, get some rest. I feel like this one needs just a little bit more. Like I said, it's still kind of new, and I think it needs a little more to it, but I got it into the papers. I've written it out. It helps me to see it as a book, not just something that's in there. And while these are children's books, it's very possible. And again, like I say, they're just kind of flowing out of me. I have one of my favorites is Roller Coaster. I'll read this one. It's dedicated to Sarah Netto for the original idea and many others. Roller coaster up and down. Roller coaster smile or frown. Roller coaster upside down. Roller coaster way up high. Riders reach to touch the skies. I'm literally like working on how to do the artwork. Anyway, through the air like birds they fly. It was originally wind. Changed it to air. I like that a little bit better. Riders now go down, down, low. Roller coaster starts to slow. Wait in line for one more go. So again, I have these things that just kind of flow out of me, the creativeness that I do. And you could do it as well. And as you create, and whatever it is that's you, this just kind of flows out of me. When I get in the flow, I end up creating this. Figure out how to bottle that up, share it with others. For myself, I'm actually considering figuring out how to illustrate. Or my other hope is to find an illustrator who is willing and able to work with me. I hope this has inspired you to do those things that will bring in more income. And I've enjoyed our time together. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.